Today at AudioCityUSA, we're going to be bringing you the definitive guide on how to prepare your truck for off-roading. I'm joined by Gio, and today's 7 tips could save you when you're out in the mud. Let's go. Now, before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe to AudioCityUSA's YouTube channel. We bring out videos like this every single week, and today we're going to be bringing you the top 7 things you can do to prepare your truck for off-roading. Now, Gio, do you want to kick us off? What is the number 1 thing that people can do?
First thing you're going to need, by far, off-road tires, guys. If you're going off of the road and into the dirt, you definitely need that traction. So make sure your tires qualify for the route you're going to be taking.
I mean, that's kind of mandatory. You don't want to be going out there on sharp rocks with eco tires. It just won't work. And we actually have a wide range of off-road wheels and tires here at AudioCityUSA. So if you want them, give us a call on this number or go to our website at audiocityusa.com. But moving on, we have number 2, which is make sure you have the correct air pressure, because it's one thing to have the right tire, but if you're overinflated on sharp rocks or if you're underinflated in mushy conditions, that's not going to work.
Usually you do want a lower PSI in your tires just so that you have more surface area on the ground, more traction, because if you're overinflated, you could slip.
Absolutely. So air pressure is one of those things that is absolutely essential. Make sure you look up guides. I'm sure there's someone on a forum who spends their whole life dedicated to this. They'll give you the tips you need. What do we have for number 3?
So the third one is to consider your ground clearance, guys. The last thing you want to do is go off-roading in a low car. Make sure you got enough clearance to clear some rocks, some obstacles that are going to be in the way so that you don't damage the bottom of your car.
Absolutely. And that kind of leads us on to our next point, which is then consider underbody protection. Maybe your ride height isn't enough. So in this case, for number 4, you want to maybe add a sump guard, a drivetrain protective kind of cover, things like that that are going to protect your car from those rocks, from those, maybe you're off-roading and you hit a tree branch, who knows. You just want to make sure that there's enough underbody protection and enough ground clearance for what you plan on doing. That's number 4. What do we have for number 5?
Number 5, guys, make sure you bring enough supplies when you're going out there. A lot of times you're going to be out there pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Could be dangerous if you aren't ready for all potential scenarios. So just make sure you got the basics, some first aid stuff to save your car in case you get stuck somewhere. Just make sure you kind of have all of your bases covered.
Yeah, and adding to that, you want enough food, you want enough water, you want to make sure you have a way of contacting people, as Gio said,
Exactly.
First aid. These things are absolutely essential, and you want to make sure that you bring them with you, because even if your car is broken down, while you're waiting for someone, you need to be able to make sure that you're going to survive in that time frame. Which kind of leads us to our next point, which is number 6, have a recovery device, whether it's recovery equipment or whether it's someone who comes with you that can then tow you out of the mud. I certainly know from the times I've been off-roading, this sort of stuff is essential, and if you don't have it, you're going to be the one stuck.
Always works like that.
Yeah, and you hear stories of this all the time. People go off with no planning, no recovery equipment, no supplies, and they're the ones who end up in a lot of trouble. And then finally, Gio, what do we have that people need to know when it comes to off-roading?
Guys, if you are going off-roading, pretty much most importantly, plan your route. Plan where you're going to be going, what you're going to be doing on the trip. Because, guys, the last thing you want is having no plan, going out there, accidentally getting stranded, and then you're stuck. Make sure people know where you are, you know where you're going to be going, just so that you can plan around for any worst case scenarios.
Yeah, and it's not a bad idea to also take into account the weather, because if you're planning on going out there when it's beautiful weather and then it gets rainy, snowy, or anything like that, you don't want to be trapped out there in conditions you weren't prepared for. Not to mention the fact that if you don't have the right clothing, you're going to be in a lot of trouble there too. So planning your route, letting those people know, like Gio said, everything like that is absolutely essential when it comes to off-roading. Now, the good news about all of this stuff is if you are actually planning on doing some serious off-roading, AudioCityUSA has you covered, because we have lift kits, we have lowering kits, and in fact, we did a whole video on what your lifted truck says about you. So if you want to learn about the different kinds of modifications you can do, we have a video on that too. We also have experts who've been in the industry for over 30 years, and we can help you when it comes to those things. We have tires, we have wheels, we have suspension kits, we have everything that you need to make sure that your truck is going to perform off-road.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, we have a bunch of them from our gallery, which if you go to audiocityusa.com, click on our gallery, you'll be able to see some of the trucks we've done. Because, I mean, while we do a lot of pavement princesses, we do some serious off-roading equipment too. So it's important to note that. Gio, do you think there's anything else that these guys need to know when it comes to off-roading, or have we given them the definitive guide?
Guys, if you're going to be off-roading, remember, have fun, but just be responsible. Off-roading can be really, really dangerous and can risk your life at some times. So just make sure you're not being an idiot and go have some fun.
Absolutely, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to call us on the number above here or go to AudioCityUSA.com for all of your fitment needs, especially when it comes to off-roading. We hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned because we put out videos like this every single week. I'm Andy.
I'm Gio.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.